That was the point where, you know, the atmosphere and the level of music and the speed and, you know, the feeling of the club was definitely going to rise.
The thing is, with the 90s, there was such a good range of songs what were about, and different styles as well.
Things like TikTok have really helped social media bring that music out now, and people will experience this themselves who lived through the 90s. They'll be in the car with their children or their kids, and a song will come on from the 90s. They start singing it, and you think, how do you actually know that track? So, and when you try to explain to them, I was playing that in 1993, they look as if you're alien.
Nirvana, never mind, that was out around the time we went out. So in the basement, Blueberry's basement, that suddenly put on Smells Like Teen Spirit, and the whole place would just go into this mosh pit and just jumping up and down, pogoing. And there's a few times I come out with a fat lip because everybody's limbs, it was just limbs, and it was brilliant. And this was like the album to have, you know, it was fab.
But I think it was very much a time where, I mean, when people ask for it now, they ask for like 90s dance. And the songs like, you know, Rhythm is a Dancer was, you know, it was a big tune then, and it's still a big tune now, you know. So those, I think the songs, the good songs, are the songs that last, and you know, you can still do now. Robin S., Show Me Love, massive tune now, but was a big tune back then.
The club culture changed in the late 80s very quickly. So it went from like people listening to pop music, Stock Aitken and Waterman, like Kylie Minogue, Jason Donovan, stuff like that. And nightclubs, a lot of nightclubs you had to wear trousers or shirts, you know, they wouldn't let you in with trainers or jeans, you know, they had quite strict dress codes. But when the rave clubs opened, particularly the Blue Monkey, they relaxed that. People just used to go in wherever they wanted to dance in, really. And the music was all, it just changed overnight, you know. So one minute you listen to stuff you heard on the radio, next minute you were listening to stuff with, I've never heard this before, wow, that's good. And that's what the Blue Monkey brought. It brought that dance music to the bigger market, you know. And in Sunderland, it was attracting thousands of people every week.
Even the radio stations, Radio 1 was quite sort of progressive, but it was progressive after 10, 11 o'clock at night. And people were out then, whereas you look at it now, it's progressive during the day, so because it's accessible.
As far as Q Club goes, there's three. Anybody who went to the Q Club will probably remember the Breeders, because when the song Last Splash came on, it started, goes dung, da dung, da dung, and everybody used to go, ah! And then the song used to start. So even now, when I'm listening to this, it goes dung, da dung, da dung. I'm going, ah! So because it reminds us of being a Q Club. That was a big song. Obviously, we're talking prior to the millennium. So Pulp, Disco 2000, we're all dancing, going, hey, it's nearly the 2000s, you know. It's like 3-4 years away, but you know. And Common People, all this sort of stuff. We used to bounce around to that. The good thing about them clubs is you didn't really have to get dressed up. I used to go, I was a student at the time, an art student, and I'd go out and I'd still have oil painting down on my face. I mean, who goes out without even washing your face? But we were a bit scruffy, really. So yeah, it would just gone as it was. And also another one that would stand out for me would be the Pixies, the Surfer Rosa album, but things like Gigantic would play, all that sort of stuff. It was just really, really, really good times. It was really good. I don't know if there's anything out there for indie kids nowadays, but at the time there was. It was brilliant.
The trance scene towards the end of the 90s was quite big. You had songs like Binary Finery, quite popular, Delirium, Silence.
End of the night we used to do the time warp, and everybody, boys and girls, are all in the bar doing the time warp. And it was, psychologically, looking back on it, it was fantastic, because you crescendoed at 11 o'clock or 10:30, and it went to the absolute crescendo of the time warp, and then thank you and good night.
Yeah.
And always the way you want to do it, is leave people wanting more.
One of the tracks that we were relatively well known at Chambers for was actually sampled a freight train. So it was the horn from a freight train that we used to kind of play just after 12 o'clock. And people felt that whenever that song came on, that was the point where, you know, the atmosphere and the level of music and the speed and, you know, the feeling of the club was definitely going to rise, and that was going to be a 30-minute or 45-minute where things were going to kick off and it was going to get big.
You listen to that music now and it still sounds fresh. You know, you can play music, I mean, when you think about it, it's 30 years ago and the music's still popular nowadays, you know, and I think it always will be. It was so good at the time. It's lasted the test of time.
Not many have the physical product now. It's all, you know, I'll choose tracks I want off Spotify. And I don't know, I'm pleased I was born in the mid-70s like I was, because getting a record for Christmas was like, oh my God, I've got a record. Or you saved up like mad to get a record, you know, and just owning the physical thing with the pictures inside and everything. It's like, you know, I own this. So I'm pleased I've still got but it's just a different way. And hey, if some kids like to listen to Spotify and maybe they might buy the physical thing after, I don't know. Wow. I do in the car, listen to Spotify.
I mean, as a DJ, it was all vinyl. So, you know, I mean, fortunately, when you had a residency, you could leave all your stuff there. But I mean, I did do a little bit of work abroad in the 90s. But you had to, when I went abroad to take my records, I had to condense it down to one box for the weight on a flight and stuff like that. So, and when you was working abroad, you know, when you wanted new songs, it would take you a month or somebody coming over to bring them over, so there wasn't that. But it's not that songs back here wasn't ready available. You had to wait until they were released, though we were on a few mailing lists from record companies, so they could send you a current song out a few weeks before it was going to be released, and they would so you could get it like that. But anything else, you had to wait until it was released.
So from a DJ's perspective, it was quite spectacular to be able to break music and to break particular tracks before the radios or before other people got a hold of it, whereas you don't get that now. You know, people tend to come to you to ask for music that you've never heard of.